Once upon a time, there were two wealthy men who lived in the same location and dwelled in two large houses. Each of the men had only one son, and both sons studied in the same school. One of the sons understood his lessons well and was quite clever. The other was simple. He was not wanting in intelligence. Rather, he had a simple, humble way about him, without any sophistication. The two sons loved one another dearly, even though one was sophisticated while the other was simple and humble. Nevertheless, they loved each other like brothers. As the years passed, the two fathers lost their wealth and became poor. From then on, the two sons had to support themselves. The simple son learned how to be a shoemaker. The worldly son believed he was very clever and didn't want to do simple menial work. He decided to explore the wide world and seek out his fame and fortune. His first stop was the thriving city of Warsaw. The worldly son took a job as a delivery boy with a shopkeeper, figuring that being a successful merchant was the best way to achieve wealth and influence.
Why should I do this kind of work? I'm not married. I don't have a family to support. Better I should travel the globe and see everything there is to see and learn everything there is to learn about the different wisdoms and cultures of the world.
Thus, the worldly son set off on a journey to discover the different wisdoms of the world.
Au clair de la luna, mon ami Pierrot. Au clair de la luna, mon ami Pierrot. Formidable! London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him.
The mythological Greek gods include Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, Apollo, the god of music and art, Ares, the god of war, and Dionysus, the god of wine and pleasure.
And Moses stretched out his hand toward heaven, and a very thick darkness covered the land of Egypt for 3 days.
It sounds like more mythology.
Meanwhile, the simple son learned how to be a shoemaker. Because he was simple, he had to study very hard to master the craft. But no matter how hard he labored, he was not very skilled at it. He married and earned a very simple livelihood. Because he wasn't a very good shoemaker, he had to work constantly. But he was happy with his lot and always filled with joy. He took good care of the house which his father had left him. In contrast, the house of the worldly son fell into ruin because no one was around to look after it. In the simple son's home, he had every kind of food, drink, and clothing.
My good wife, please bring me some bean soup. Ah, thank you. Thank you.
Because of his great simplicity, the bread actually tasted like bean soup.
What a delicious bean soup. Can you bring me some meat too?
It was the same with everything he ate.
Ah, thank you. How wonderfully cooked this meat is. Please, my good wife, pour me some beer. delicious. What a fine beer this is. Ah, how about some wine? Thank you, my wife. Wow, what a delicious wine. Fit for a king. נער ראיתי, גם זקנתי, ולא ראיתי צדיק נעזב וזרע מבקש לכם. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך, כטעמו בשלום. Thank you, my wife. I think I'll go for a walk. Can you give me the sheepskin coat, please? Ay, 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 die, di, 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 die, yo, 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 my, ay, 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 No, I think instead I go visit the rabbi. Can you give me my precious fur coat? Ay, 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 tra-la-la-li-la-lam, oy, la-la-la-lam, di-di-di-di-di-dam, ay, ti-di-di-di-di-di-dam, tu-tu-tu-tu-tu. What an elegant fur coat, huh? Beautiful. Oh, when I'm going to the synagogue, I'll give those shoes to the man who ordered them. Look at those shoes. How sweet they are, eh? Sugar and honey.
If they're so sweet, why do other shoemakers get 3 gold coins and you get only 1.5?
Why should that bother me? That is their handiwork. This is mine. Why speak about others? Shalom.
זה מעשה שלו וזה מעשה שלי, ועוד למה לנו לדבר מאחרים. זה מעשה שלו וזה מעשה שלי, ועוד למה לנו לדבר מאחרים. ומנהגו היה שהיה תמיד בשמחה, ומנהגו היה שהיה תמיד בשמחה, בעלייה בירידה היה תמיד רק בשמחה, בשמחה גדולה מאוד, היה רק מלא שמחה תמיד. זה מעשה שלו וזה מעשה שלי, ועוד למה לנו לדבר מאחרים. דוס איז ינס מייסה, דוס איז מיינה מייסה, ועוד למה לנו לדבר מאחרים. ומנהגו היה שהיה תמיד בשמחה.
Years passed. Since he traveled to so many countries and studied so many subjects, the worldly son became more and more sophisticated. Finally, he decided that he needed to set a goal for himself and choose some lucrative and prestigious occupation. Being so intelligent and a quick learner, it did not take him long to become a master goldsmith. He was even more skilled than the expert who taught him.
I've mastered this craft, but it's still not enough. While being a goldsmith is prestigious today, tomorrow another craft might be more respectable.
He became an apprentice to a gem cutter and achieved expertise very quickly. But he philosophized about this too.
Even though I've already mastered 2 trades, there might come a time where neither are considered important. It's best I learn a new profession that will always be in high demand.
To study medicine, he had to learn Latin and familiarize himself with many philosophical matters. Considering his great intelligence, he became a distinguished physician and philosopher in a very short time. Knowing everything there was to know, the world held no mystery for him. All of life seemed vain. Through his intelligence, he had mastered all wisdom, and everything and everyone seemed small and insignificant in his eyes.
The time has come to set for myself another goal and take a wife. But if I marry and settle down here, so far from home, no one will know of my incredible achievements. I should return to my village, so that everyone will see what an accomplished person I've become. I left an aimless youth, and now I've risen to great distinction. Yes, it's time to go home.
Hurry! Your childhood friend has arrived with great pomp and fanfare.
What?
Hurry!
Yay! Dear wife, my old friend is coming home. I must hurry to meet him. Please give me my special holiday coat. I'm going. Hello, welcome, my brother, welcome. My brother, my best friend. Look, it's me. How have you been all these years? How gracious is the Lord who brought you back home so I might see you once again.
Ah, it's my old friend, the Simpleton. Since you and I are old friends, I'll allow you to accompany me into the village, even though it really is beneath me to be seen with a peasant like you. As for my luggage, they'll be brought by coach.
Why do you look so unhappy?
To tell the truth, I have nowhere to stay. I hear that due to neglect, my home has fallen to disrepair.
Oh, so come home with me and share my dwellings. I will move all my things to one room and you can have the rest of the house.
Very well. Let's proceed.
It became widely known that the worldly son was very scholarly, in addition to being an expert craftsman and a brilliant physician. Yet he was always very miserable, either because he thought that people couldn't fully appreciate the greatness of his skills, or because he always saw the tiniest imperfections in all his handicrafts and cures.
Wow. If you ask my opinion, you've made a beautiful ring that's one of a kind.
Well, you say that because you don't understand how to appraise fine jewelry. But my eyes can see the flaws in what I've done, and it's depressing.
Why? Why should a successful genius like you be depressed? Look at me. I'm always filled with joy. Why should a man like you be depressed?
Well, what a ridiculous question. You, my friend, are a simpleton.
So what? So what if you're smarter than me? Are you any happier for that?
The same sense of dissatisfaction occurred whenever the worldly son ordered that a garment be made for him.
I made the jacket, sir, exactly as you ordered. Is there a problem?
Is there a problem? Don't you have eyes? Can't you see? The jacket is too tight. It won't close. Do you want me to be a laughingstock? You call yourself a tailor? A jacket this tight might get by in a backwater village like this one, but if I were to wear this in Paris, I'd be the joke of the city. They'd ridicule me. Is that what you want?
It looked fine to me.
It looks fine to him, to a commoner like this. That's exactly my point.
That's what you think. If you could only reach my level.
I could reach your level if I were to lose all of my intelligence and become a moron like you. But for you to attain my brilliance, that would be impossible.
Nothing is impossible for God. If God wants, then in 1 minute I can obtain everything you have and more.
One sleepless night, the king was browsing through the official registry of his subjects when he came upon the names Simpleton and Worldly Son.
Rogers, Levy, Johnson, Cohen, Wellington, Jacobs, Worldly Son, Simpleton. What kind of names are these? What do you make of them?
I have been informed, sire, that the worldly son is very sophisticated and learned. The simpleton, on the other hand, is very simple and honest. He has only a sheepskin coat, but in his eyes it is like a smoking jacket or a fur coat, even a prayer robe, whatever the occasion demands, sire.
Send messengers to bring them to the castle. In place of the governor who was caught stealing from the royal treasury, I will appoint the simpleton who will rule over my provinces without corruption and deceit.
Right away, sire. I shall send for them immediately.
For me? That's insane. What is this? Can you read it to me?
The king requests that you come to the royal palace.
Are you joking?
Absolutely not. That's what the letter says.
Wait here. Wait here. Wait here! My wife! The king has sent for me!
Why do you want to see you?
Why you want to see me?
The citizens of the capital are to fill the streets in welcome when the simpleton reaches the city, and they will crown him as their new prime minister.
Can I help you?
From the king.
Well, it seems the king wants to meet me. This unexpected honor requires some thought. I suggest you spend the night here so we can analyze our situation and figure out what to do. Check. Now let's analyze the significance of this letter you brought. Does it make sense that a king would send for someone as unimportant as myself? I mean, in comparison to the king, I'm nothing. How can we believe that such a powerful king would send for someone like me? I mean, obviously, the king surrounds himself with many worldly advisors, and certainly he himself must be very wise and sophisticated. So our situation makes no sense logically. In fact, the only answer to our puzzle is that there is no king. You see, the entire world is in error, believing in a king that doesn't exist. Checkmate.
But there must be a king. I brought you the king's letter myself.
Did you receive it from the king?
No, a courier gave it to me.
So you know that I'm right. There is no king. The king does not exist. Let me ask you a question. You grew up in the capital, right? Have you ever seen the king?
Well, not everyone gets to see the king.
That's because there is no king. Can't you see the logic in my argument? I'll tell you what. Tomorrow I can show you further proof that there is no king. And then your journey towards enlightenment will be complete. Excuse me, officer. Whom do you serve?
The king.
And have you ever seen the king?
No.
You see? Can there be anything more ridiculous than this? The whole world is in error, believing in a king that doesn't exist.
Now I understand what you mean.
Come! We'll travel the world, and you'll see for yourself that there is no king.
There is no king! There is no king! There is no king! Oh, what the chuck? Oh, what the chuck?
Throughout all of their travels, the worldly son and his companion found no person who had ever seen the king. Now, wherever they went, they had to inform people of their foolish error. Before long, they had used up all of their wealth, so now they had to travel on foot. Since now they were beggars, no one would listen to them. Finally, they decided to return home. In the meantime, the king had appointed the Simpleton as prime minister over all the land. With his rise in fortune, the Simpleton became quite intelligent and worldly, but he never let that interfere with his simplicity. No, not at all. He continued behaving simply, just as before, governing with honesty, without a trace of conceit or corruption. After all, ruling a country doesn't require outstanding intelligence or sophistication. What's really needed is honesty and a good heart.
This is a new tax placed upon the rich. The money will be distributed to the poor. And let it be known that every government official who is caught stealing will be imprisoned for life.
Tell me, who lives in this house?
The tzaddik, the master of prayer. He prays for people, and miracles happen all the time.
Miracles? What absolute foolishness! This is even more ridiculous than believing in a king.
You shouldn't speak that way about the tzaddik, the master of prayers.
Tzaddik? Master of prayer? Who does he pray to? A king that doesn't exist? Officer! Officer, wake up! Officer, I want to lodge a complaint. We were beaten up down the road.
Beaten by who?
By some superstitious fools in front of the house of that charlatan they call the Master of Prayer. I want our assailants arrested.
Why did they beat you?
For no good reason at all.
When I insisted that the miracles of this charlatan were just a bunch of nonsense, they began to assault us.
Good old friend. Ah. Look, my friend, where my simplicity has led me. But what has your sophistication and worldliness brought you?
The fact that you're my old friend, the Simpleton, is a matter we can discuss later. Right now, I demand justice for my assailants.
Tell me what happened.
I merely let people know that the so-called Tzaddik, the one they call the Master of Prayer, is nothing but a charlatan, and that all of his miracles are just superstition. And for this, I was beaten. Twice.
You still take pride in being worldly and sophisticated? Do you remember you claimed that you could easily attain my level and I could never attain yours? Well, look, I attained your level, and you still have not attained my simplicity. Even so, since you are my old friend, I will give you more respectable clothing. Then we should continue our conversation.
This fantasy about a master of prayer and his bag full of miracles is indeed a sad joke. But this business about a king is even more ridiculous. In fact, I've traveled all over the world proving to people that such a king does not exist.
You speak utter nonsense. Certainly, without any doubt, there is a king. I have encountered him myself.
Are you sure? How do you know he was the king? Did you recognize him from having seen him before? Were his father and grandfathers kings before him? Perhaps people told you he was the king, but they deceived you with their lies.
The evil one has sent for the both of you.
What's the matter?
Satan. Satan has sent for me. What should I do?
The Master of Prayer. Send for the Master of Prayer. He will help you.
Of course. Master of Prayer. That's what I'll do.
Our friend, the Prime Minister, needs our help. I will write him an amulet and pray for him. Tell him that he has nothing to fear.
What frightened you that you ran out in the middle of our conversation before?
Well, Satan has sent for us.
You don't really believe in the Satan, do you?
Of course I do.
Nonsense.
Who do you think sent for us?
I think it was my brother. He's been trying to see me for quite some time.
Brother? You have no brother. You're an only son.
On this, you're also mistaken.
The evil one is waiting for the both of you.
So, how do you explain this?
My brother's angry with me. He's playing games to frighten me.
You're not going with him, are you?
Why not? There is no Satan. But send some soldiers along so my brother can't harm me. And what about you? Would you come along?
No, 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 no. I'm not taking orders from the Satan. I have the word of the Master of Prayer. He can do me no harm. And I beg you, my friend, not to go with him.
Why should I fear? There is no Satan, just like there is no king, and there are no phony miracles of the Master of Prayer. And I can prove it to you.
They vanished. They simply vanished.
You're not the Satan! There is no Satan! Why are you torturing us? You better release us. We'll call the police.
I'm sinking, and my feet are on fire.
We have to determine what's happening here. Obviously, this lunatic is some kind of criminal. He must be somebody we've argued with in the course of our travels, trying to take revenge.
Many years went by. One day, the simpleton was relaxing on an outing when he came across the house of the master of prayer. Remembering his friend, the worldly son, he decided to seek the help of the holy sage.
Oh, please sit down, my honored friend. To what do I owe the honor of your visit?
Rabbi, do you remember my old friend, the worldly son whom I told you about?
Yes, I remember.
Satan took him away by magic and he vanished. No one has seen him since. Can you take me to where he is? Can you free him?
Yes. I can show you where he is. And with God's help, I will free him. But we must go alone. Just the two of us.
My brother! Look! Look! This maniac kidnapped me! He's torturing us! For no reason at all!
No, brother. You're still trapped in your sophisticated thinking. Can't you believe in anything but your own human reasoning? This is not an ordinary being that captured you. There are worlds you know nothing about. Brother, look, this is the master of prayer. Remember him? You remember you laughed at him? Only he can save you now. Brother! Please, please, free these people. Free these poor people. Show them the truth.
What's he doing?
Praying.
Praying? Praying to who?
To the king.
To the king? There is no king. You know that.
I beg you, Master of the world, reveal the truth to these poor souls and show them that you are ruler of the world. ואומר השם אל השטן, יגער בך השם השטן, יגער בך בוכה בירושלים, הלא זה הכריעהו, ומה השם, תרדמת מניו, הכריעהו, פלטן ברשע חובך, החייאו ספרתה, נפשי ברשע חובך.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It turns out that it really was a Satan who had kidnapped us. And if this is a miracle, that means that there must be a king. There's a king.
There's a king, 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 there's a king. I sing for myself with my very own eyes, so I'll sing and I'll sing. There's a king!
זה מעשה שלו וזה מעשה שלי, ועוד למה לנו לדבר לאחרים. זה מעשה שלו וזה מעשה שלי, ועוד למה לנו לדבר לאחרים. ומנהגו היה שהיה תמיד בשמחה, ומנהגו היה שהיה תמיד בשמחה, בשמחה גדולה מאוד עם הזקן והפאות, בשמחה גדולה מאוד היה רק מלא שמחה תמיד. זה מעשה שלו וזה מעשה שלי, ועוד למה לנו לדבר לאחרים. זה מעשה שלו וזה מעשה שלי,